A wildfire raged through the Oregon forest, flames clawing at the night sky. And in its path, a young police officer lay bound to a pine, her mouth sealed, her lungs burning with smoke. She was never meant to escape. But through the haze and ash, a scarred German shepherd appeared, limping, singed, forgotten by the world. No one knew he had survived. No one believed he would return. Yet he remembered her scent. And he remembered what it meant to fight for the living. What happened next will break your heart and then mend it with hope. Before we begin, tell me, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. And if you believe that no human, no animal should be left to perish in silence. Subscribe now, because this story, this one, might just restore your faith in miracles. Officer Mara Keegan, 32, leaned against her patrol SUV in the Rogue River forest, tightening her flashlight strap. Her auburn hair framed a face sharpened by duty and fatigue, her hazel eyes holding resolve forged after losing her brother in a car accident. Tonight, unease prickled as she investigated reports of unusual activity at an abandoned lumber yard. Following fresh tire tracks, she found plastic drums reeking of chemical solvent. As she reached for her radio to report the discovery, a shadow moved behind her. A blow to her head sent stars bursting across her vision, and rough hands bound her arms. When Mara regained consciousness, she was tied to a pine tree, duct tape across her mouth. Flames licked at fallen needles 30 feet away. Someone had ignited the brush line with accelerant, creating a deadly ring of fire. The men who'd tied her retreated, their truck roaring away into the night. 2 ridges away, retired lumberjack Harlan Mott watched a matte green pickup with blacked-out windows disappear down a service trail. Minutes later, smoke curled behind the tree line. "Fires in wet weather," he muttered, reaching for his binoculars. Through the lens, he saw flames spreading where no lightning had struck. In town, journalist June Pritchard caught the wildfire alert on her scanner. Suspicious ignition after rain, in a place untouched by lightning. She'd long suspected illegal logging and smuggling in these backwoods. Grabbing her recorder, she raced toward the forest. The flames climbed higher around Mara, ash snowing from above, heat singing her skin. Through the choking haze came the sound of paws against soil. A dark figure emerged, a German shepherd, ragged and limping, eyes glinting amber in the firelight. Mara's eyes widened. Atlas. A year ago, during a narcotics transport, a wreck had sent the police K9 unit over a ravine. Atlas had been presumed dead. Yet here he was, battered but unmistakable. He padded forward, clamped his jaws on the nylon cords binding her wrists, and snapped them free. "Atlas," she rasped, tearing the tape from her lips. The dog nudged her up, guiding her toward a narrow break in the flames. As her knees buckled, white light slashed through the smoke. "Over here." Fire Captain Eli Navarro emerged in yellow gear, broad-shouldered with weathered brown skin. He'd lost a close friend in a blaze 2 summers ago, making him relentless about saving lives. Seeing Mara collapse against Atlas, he surged forward, lifting her under one arm while Atlas limped alongside, refusing to leave. At the emergency rig, Mara collapsed against the bumper, oxygen mask pressed to her face. She reached toward Atlas, her trembling hand resting on his soot-blackened fur. "You saved me," she whispered. The shepherd's tired but fierce eyes blinked once, his tail thumping faintly. Days later, Mara was released from Medford Regional Hospital with bandaged wrists and smoke-damaged lungs. Lieutenant Cole Renner from Internal Affairs had questioned her briefly. She'd told him the fire was intentional, set to erase evidence and her along with it. Determined to find answers, Mara returned to the forest with State Forestry Officer Rhea Bowman and Atlas. Among the charred remains, Atlas led them to a collapsed tarp structure where they found a fireproof-wrapped USB drive hidden in a melted padlock. A drone appeared overhead, surveilling them. Atlas charged at it while Rhea fired a net launcher, bringing it down. The drone's memory card revealed aerial footage mapping smuggling routes toward the Rogue River docks. June Pritchard, meanwhile, had driven to Gold Beach's coastal docks. Hiding behind crates, she photographed men loading wooden containers marked with triangular amber symbols, the same symbols she'd seen in old contraband cases. When workers spotted her, she feigned a phone call and slipped away, heart-hammering. The USB files revealed the operation's scope. Routes along the river, shipments transferred from trucks to barges, all hidden behind false lumber export manifests. The evidence pointed to Silas Drennan, a fallen timber baron turned criminal mastermind. That evening, June's panicked call came through. She'd been spotted at the docks and was in danger. The line went dead. At a warehouse in Brookings, June sat bound to a chair, facing Silas Drennan himself. The broad, gray-haired man in flannel spoke with deceptive calm about sacrifices and necessary violence. As his men prepared accelerant, Mara, Eli, and Atlas crept through the building's shadows. They freed June just as Silas triggered overhead nozzles, releasing flammable foam. He struck a flare, grinning as flames raced across the floor. "Let's see you walk out of this one." Atlas, remembering this place from his missing year, led them to a hidden service door. They stumbled onto railway tracks as the warehouse exploded behind them. In the wreckage, agents found a server containing all of Silas's records. The final confrontation came at dawn on the Rogue River docks. Federal marshals, deputies, and rangers surrounded the warehouse where Silas and his crew were loading their final shipment. Breaching from three sides, the task force caught them mid-transfer. Mara confronted Silas on the stairwell. "You're done," she called out. Surrounded by rifles, he dropped his weapon. The fire starter was finally in chains. Weeks later, at Portland's federal courthouse, Silas Drennan was sentenced to 35 years without parole. His enforcers received 20 years each. June's investigative series Amber Triangle won the state's highest journalism award. At a ceremony in Rogue River Waterfront Park, Atlas received an honorary K-9 service medal. Mara spoke to the gathered crowd. "We've seen what fire can destroy, but we've also seen what loyalty can save. Atlas taught me that no one should be left behind." As the sun dipped low, painting the river gold, families planted saplings where ash had once dominated. The community chose renewal over surrender. The story reminds us that miracles arrive not in grand displays, but in the steady bark of a scarred dog who refuses to give up, in the courage of those who step into fire to save others, and in the quiet strength of communities that choose to rebuild. Perhaps God's greatest gift is not removing our struggles, but sending us reminders, loyalty, faith, second chances, that no darkness is too deep for His light to reach. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Leave a comment with the moment that moved you most, and subscribe for more stories of faith, courage, and redemption. May the Lord bless you and remind you that no one is ever truly forgotten.